Okay, so in this video we're going to go over integrating Google Cardboard and getting the project you're seeing onto your Android device. This is going to be Android only. The process is going to be pretty similar, but there are going to be some significant differences, and the iOS video will come out shortly. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is go into Project Settings, which is under Window here. There's going to be a Package Manager, and over here is going to be Project Settings. And I want you to know that everything that we're going to be doing here for the most part is under Player, but there are going to be some things that are outside. So you have a link that should be in the description of this video if I put it on YouTube to the Google Cardboard package, which goes in here. We want to look at in project, not Unity Registry or My Assets. And we want to click this plus here. Again, the package manager is up here in Window. And there's going to be a link here, and we're going to add package from a Git URL. And that URL is, again, in the description, and it should be on Canvas right below this video in modules for the class. This is going to take a little bit of time here, but I'm not going to cut this part. I will cut the build section if I include it at all, because that takes about 10 minutes. So we're going to run this right up in here, Google Cardboard XR plugin for Unity. And do keep this package manager window open. We are going to have to press a button. Okay. So it's just compiling these scripts. It should take about 30 seconds to a minute. And this is our API. This is what allows us to integrate Google Cardboard. So even if you're using a Daydream for this semester, we're not going to use Google Daydream's Unity integration because Daydream has been discontinued. You're welcome to play with it on your Daydream as much as you like, but Google Cardboard is really what we're going to be using because that's still supported, at least for now. Google has a strong tendency of killing their projects. Like Google Stadia was also ended recently. And under this samples, we have Hello Cardboard. We do want to import this as well. So this is under Other in Project, under Packages here, Package Manager, Google Cardboard XR plugin, import Hello Cardboard. And this just gives us an example so that we have a scene that we can actually look at, that the camera's set up. And when we look at Hello Cardboard, we're going to open this scene as well. It's going to take a little bit to update and refresh everything that we've just done here. And we want to open this Hello Cardboard scene. So if we come out to the scene view, we have everything here. So this is on, this video is being recorded on 2/28/2021. This is Unity 2021 1.0. This is not the one that I meant to open, but I have done this tutorial several times before attempting this, and it does work on both 2020 and 2019, which is what you should be in right now, at least for my course. If you found this video from somewhere else, then, well, you can do whatever it is that you like, and this is just going to try to help you. So in this player settings, so again, under Edit, Project Settings, we're going to have this little window. I'm also going to maximize it, which you do by right-clicking on the tab. It's just so that we can see a little bit better. The first thing that we need to do is come up to File before anything else in Project Settings and go to Build Settings. And then we want to switch this over to Android. We also want to remove the sample scene and add this Hello Cardboard scene. So we're going to switch our platform over to Android by clicking Android under Platform and clicking on the Switch Platform button. And that will basically change it so that Unity is expecting to be run on a phone rather than being run on a computer. And there are a huge number of considerations here. that you want to think about when doing something on a PC versus on a phone. They're not necessarily interchangeable. A phone is a lot smaller and a lot less powerful. So you have to make those considerations, and a lot of what the back end work is done for you in Unity if you just switch your platform over to Android. So this has to change. It's going to compress a lot of these textures so that they fit on a phone a little bit better, because you wouldn't want to have a 10 gig app on the App Store. That would be ridiculous. Nobody would download it. People just don't have 10 gigs to spare on their phones. When they might have that kind of room on their computers, certainly. It's a matter of file size. And this does take a little bit of time here. We're looking at about 2 minutes for this conversion process, for this importing process here, as these files are compressed. In the meantime, we can talk a little bit about these settings here. We're not going to really touch texture compression too much, and these settings are all in the Unity documentation that you can think about these. You might want to change the compression method, but that really depends on the compatibility of the device, and that's something we'll just have to look up depending on your needs. We will check development build just so that it's still marked when we generate an APK to make sure that we know that this isn't the final product by any means. But we're really not going to touch anything else here yet. This is a much more advanced concept. So this should be done in just a second. So when we go into our player settings here, which we're about to do as soon as this is done, we're going to make a number of changes. I can't move these windows quite yet here. All right, we can do it now. We're going to make a number of changes under resolution and presentation, other settings, and we're not going to touch anything else for the most part. So the first thing that we're going to do is under resolution and presentation, and we are going to bounce around a little bit. That's the fault of the documentation here, not necessarily mine. I've tried to order these as best I can, but there's just only so much I can do floating around like this. So we're not going to choose auto orientation, because you don't want, when somebody tilts their head to the side, for them to suddenly go into portrait mode. That would be very unhelpful. So we're going to go into landscape left, and that keeps everything kind of in the goggle form so that things don't suddenly turn sideways. If you have optimized frame pacing on, turn it off. In 2019, this should be off by default. If it's off, just leave it alone. We just want this off. It doesn't work quite right for VR in the stereoscopic rendering. The next thing we need to do is go into other settings. Vulkan is a PC graphics API that is not supported by phones. We need to take it out. And we do that by clicking on Vulkan, highlighting it blue, and clicking on this minus symbol. We will have open GLES3, and we will keep that. If Unity warns you that your phone cannot support OpenGLES3, you can press this plus button here and switch it back to 2. You just have to remove 3 in the same way. The next thing that we're going to have to do is going to be down here. We'll get to it in a moment as soon as this is done. I am going to keep showing at least these loading screens because it's important that you know that nothing is going wrong. It's just that things are going to take time when we're doing something complicated like this. The next thing that we need to do is take it all the way down to configuration in scripting backend. We want this to be IL2CPP, which is a different scripting backend because Mono is not supported by some phones. ARM version 7 will also be fine. You might get a warning that wants 64. If you do, add 64. You might need to uncheck version 7. Again, this depends on your phone. Everybody's going to have a little bit of a different phone. When you're putting these apps out to the App Store, you might have to make one that uses one of these architectures and one that targets another, and then do the settings in the Google Play Store or in the Apple Store. We also do require internet access, at least in this documentation. If you set it to auto and it doesn't work, try require, but you might want to just do it to auto, because we don't want to ask for internet access if we don't need it. So this one is a little unknown here. The next thing we need to do is go all the way up and change our company name. So I'm going to change this. And your product name. And this will help you identify it on your phone so that you can search for it. And it keeps you from colliding when you do different versions. So if you want to change the version, then you can kind of have a second version of this on your phone at the same time so that you can compare and contrast and do what it is that you need to do. The next thing that we need to do here is in the publishing settings. We require a custom main Gradle template, which is third here, which exposes a text file which ends in .gradle that we need to add some things to. And I'm going to go ahead and copy that here out of the documentation. Again, this is in the description, and it's in your this link to this quick start is in Canvas for you. And we need to go all the way out and unmaximize this, and we need to find that main Gradle file, and that is under Assets, Plugins, Android Main Template. So we're in Assets, which is the top level, Plugins, Android Main Template. You're going to want to open this in something like Notepad or Notepad++. Don't open this in Word. It will mess up the whole thing because Word adds stuff at the end of lines that code cannot tolerate. We're also going to get rid of that space there. Again, so this is over in the quick start. We're going to add these 4 lines by copying and pasting them. We're going to put them in dependencies under what was already here. I'll show you by undoing. So we're going to make a space, we're going to paste it in, press Tab to move these up, and delete that space, and then save the file. There's another instruction if your target API, which is in other settings, your target API is here. If you set it to automatic, it suggests that you might need to change the Android manifest. You're going to do pretty much the same thing. You're going to come out to your publishing settings. You're going to expose this file that's custom main manifest. You're going to click on this, and you're going to navigate to Android manifest and insert what it tells you to insert from the website, just like we did for the other. So we've already managed to do everything, and I'm not going to change this from automatic because automatic works just fine for my device. Now we've managed to make Unity and the build system tolerate this Google Cardboard, but we also need XR plugin management, and click on Cardboard XR plugin. So that tells the build that this wants to be included, that Cardboard should be there. If for whatever reason, especially on 2019.4, you don't have XR plugin management, if you click on it in this menu, it should let you install it. You can also go to the package manager, go to the Unity registry, and go down to XR plugin management and install it. You can also use this import the sample if you would like, but this may not make much sense to you at this time. So we're finally ready to build our scene. You can see that there's a camera here in the center. All you'll need to do from Hello Cardboard is delete the cube room and the point light and whatever else, and then add this player to your scene. If you are in a project that you're working on currently, like you should be for my class, you can take this player, pull it out into a prefab, get out of the entire Hello Cardboard scene. That's having a little bit of trouble loading. It's doing a number of lighting tasks here. But all you'll have to do is take this player and drop it back into your scene. Oh, here we go. It's starting to come through. You'll also have to delete the other camera because it will not be supported. It looks like it's having a little bit of trouble tolerating the scene here. So our player prefab that we dragged out of that other scene, we can place this in an appropriate position for what we're looking for, and this is what will be reacted to here. So we're just going to put it right in the center at about, let's call it 2 and 1.5 or so. And when we go up here to File, Build Settings, we actually get to build our project into our phone, our Android device of some sort. And we do that by plugging it in, probably with a USB cable of some sort. And then once it's plugged in, you should have this run device that should be enabled in some way. If you don't, and it tells you that your paths for the JDK, the NDK, or the STK are wrong, you need to go all the way up to your other, it's under Preferences, that's why I can't find it, under External Tools, and you need to go to uncheck the JDK and the STK, because mine are a little broken, they don't work quite right, and you're going to have to change this to whatever version you are currently using. You'll notice that mine are different. Mine says that it's going to be 2019 421F1, and this SDK does exist in there because I do also have this installed. But if this is not correct, you'll just have to change this number, and I would change this number to 2021 10B6 with the appropriate dots. But since I'm running the beta right now, and I opened it by accident because I'm playing with it in another project, that's what's going to happen here. So we're going to refresh so that it can fetch the connected devices, and we're going to select my device, which is my phone. Select Development Build. Don't forget that we're going to include open scenes, so I'm going to play with the sample scene here, but you can also include just Hello Cardboard instead. So I'm going to play with the sample scene, and I'm going to click Build and Run. This is going to take quite a while. We're going to create a builds folder that's going to sit in our assets, and I'm going to name this Hello Cardboard URP. You can name that whatever you want. And this is going to take quite a while, so I'm going to cut this portion of the video until we make it to the end here. This can take as long as 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes to build for the first time, but consecutive builds usually take a little bit less time. So I will see you when this is done. Okay, so it's been a little under a half an hour that this build has been running, and it does take quite some time. If you want to decrease the amount of time this takes, I believe LZH4HC takes a little bit less time, and you can also strip out the project of what you don't use. So before you import your Google Cardboard, pretty much just delete everything, and that'll decrease the time as well. So let's take a look at what we've just made, which is our Unity cardboard here. I'm going to switch the phone over. Oh, come on, you can do it. It's having a little bit of trouble. It'll come back in a moment. I guess I shouldn't have played around with the sample scene, huh? Well, in any case, I can show you if you don't play with the sample scene and you add Hello Cardboard into your scenes instead, so if we strip this out and switch them out, you will see something like this on your phone. And if we look at one of these polyhedrons here and we tap on the screen, it moves and changes a little bit. So this is what we've managed to do. It crashed again. Screen copy, well, not the app, but screen copy keeps crashing, so I can't show you what's going on here. But that is your start for putting a Unity scene in VR. Next up is iOS, and the processes are pretty similar, but there are some distinct differences that we'll discuss. So this should be very helpful to all of my students, and thank you for watching.